Houston, this is Station. We are ready for the event.
All right, great, y'all. Associated Press, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call Station for a voice check.
Station, this is Marcia Dunn with the Associated Press. How do you hear me?
We have you loud and clear. We are ready for the event.
Well, greetings, buongiorno from the Kennedy Space Center. Jessica, I can't help but wonder if you're still pinching yourself. Does it feel like you're living a dream up there? And what are a couple of the biggest surprises you've encountered about living in space?
Yeah, it absolutely still feels like a dream, and I just keep waiting to wake up. But I hope that I don't, because it has been absolutely awesome living up here, working with my crewmates. Probably the most surprising and most fun thing for me, or one of the most fun things for me, has been getting to learn how to work and operate basically in 3 dimensions in a full volume. And it's been so interesting watching how your brain so easily adapts to using all of the wall space and all of the volume so quickly.
Well, for either or both of you, women are still very much in the minority when it comes to space travel. Are there any adjustments you would make to the space station to better accommodate women? And I'm thinking of things like the NASA toilet that was built to better work with the female body. Have either of you tried that yet, and are there other things you might recommend?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I mean, there's nothing specifically that comes to mind. We as a crew have not had a chance to use toilet, like the new toilet system yet. But the legacy one that I also used during my first flight just seems to work quite well. And there's certainly different adapters that maybe work better for the female anatomy that are available here on board. So it works quite well.
What creature comforts in general might you add up there to make or make certain that if you had them that you would have with you on a Moon or a Mars mission? And I'm thinking of things like the espresso machine, and might you fire that up again, Samantha? What other niceties would you add to your mission up there?
So yeah, the espresso machine unfortunately is not on board anymore. It was deorbited or brought back to the ground a few years ago. In terms of the missions to Moon and Mars, I have to say that we would probably have to adapt to smaller size vehicles than ISS. And probably also to having less creature comforts rather than more. But that's part of what we do here on ISS, right, is to test technologies and also concepts of habitation that hopefully will be helpful in those missions beyond low Earth orbit, where we can still, have what we need to survive and thrive as human beings, but probably using less resources and space than we have available here on space station. We often say that it's a little bit like a camping trip. You have to adapt, but I would say space station is definitely a luxury camping trip, and a mission to the Moon or even beyond to Mars would be maybe less luxurious in terms of space and creature comforts.
Well, both of you must be used to being outnumbered.
And I would just...
Please do. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Please do.
Oh, yes. No, I was just going to add that we certainly are spoiled up here on the ISS. We're living pretty good. We've got great snacks, great food, great company, obviously, and access to internet and other creature comforts like that. So we definitely are living large.
Well, both of you must be used to being outnumbered by men in your respective fields. Is it nice to have another woman up there with you? And do you think we'll ever see a woman majority space crew or even an all-woman space crew?
Yeah, it's certainly a pleasure to be up here and an honor to be up here with all of my crewmates, including Samantha here. And I'm certainly grateful for our crew and the crew complement that we have put together. Certainly, I think in the future, we certainly have an increasingly diverse astronaut corps, both in the NASA Corps and then hopefully soon in the ESA Corps as well. And so the possibilities in terms of mixing and matching of crews is ultimately endless as we look towards the moon and Mars.
While you have the mic, Jessica, I know you took some rocks up with you. By any chance, are they moon rocks? What rocks do you have, and have you pulled them out yet?
Unfortunately, I don't have any moon rocks with me. They wouldn't let me take those up here. They're way too valuable, I think, and they wouldn't be safe in my hands. But I do have a few other rocks, including a meteorite, actually. So kind of returning it back to its home, and then we'll bring it back down to Earth once again. So just excited about those little treasures that I have.
And Samantha, for you, I'm assuming you took up some Italian delicacies. What are they, and have you eaten them yet?
I do have some meals that have been prepared for me by the actually the same chef that prepared my meals in my first flight. They're not up here with me yet. They will come on a cargo mission in a few weeks from now, so I haven't tried them in space yet. But yeah, I've kind of like on my first mission, I really focused on trying to have healthy, nutritious meals. And then maybe something special. There's going to be also some snack bars that include some flour made from insects. So definitely not an Italian traditional meal, but maybe part of what nutrition will look like in the future.
Well, you're going to have to tell me more about this flour. What kind of insects, and is this from some scientific lab in Europe?
Oh, I have to confess I don't remember the details off the top of my head now, but I can definitely get those to you.
Well, thank you. And, you know, there's a total lunar eclipse coming up late Sunday night, early Monday morning. That'll be visible throughout the Americas. And I'm wondering if you guys might be setting your alarm clock early to get up and see some of that.
Yeah, we have definitely heard about that and are hoping to. Hopefully we can be up in time and be at the right place at the right time to catch a good glimpse of that.
And you know, with all the difficulties happening here on Earth, I'm just wondering, I know you're getting along wonderfully with your Russian crewmates, but are you avoiding the subject of Ukraine while you're up there? Is all that making for a rather awkward situation more so than might otherwise be?
We certainly try to focus on the mission before us and all the things that we have in common. You know, our passion for space, our commitment to this mission and to the space station program, but also, you know, all the things that bind human beings, you know, all over the world. The love for our families, for our children, for our friends, and that's what we cherish and celebrate together.
Well, that's my last question. Good luck to you both. Godspeed, and hopefully that cargo ship won't be too late for you there, Samantha, with all your goodies. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the Associated Press portion of the event. Please stand by for a voice check from ABC News.
Station, this is Gina Sinceri with ABC News. How do you hear me?
Hello, we have you loud and clear. We are ready for the event.
So, Samantha, I think you have sent down the very first TikTok video from space. Tell me about your inspiration for that.
Yes, indeed. Well, as I was thinking about, communication during this mission, which is my second space flight, I was thinking that I really wanted to reach the younger generations, the teenagers, the young adults, and I have been told they are to be found on TikTok, so that's where I went.
So what was your TikTok video about? How did you design it?
So this first video, of course, we're going to do more about, the life on space station and all the activities up here, and maybe also answering questions that people have posted on the platform. But yeah, this first video was really a little bit of a recap of that spectacular launch night that we had a couple of weeks ago. So it was a way to share the highlights of that amazing day.
So, Jessica, is it now game on? Are you going to have to kind of meet her standards on TikTok, too?
I wouldn't dare compete with her, but I have volunteered to help her out. So I can be a videographer or whatever is required for TikTok videos.
And we know you're one of the few geologists that have made it to the space station. Are you the only one, the second one? Do we know where you rank on geologists going to the space station?
So I am definitely not the only one. Off the top of my head, Drew Feustel, who is a member of the astronaut corps, and also ESA astronaut, is also volcanologist. So I'm definitely at least the third, and I'm sure I'm missing a couple as well. But it is super exciting to be up here and getting to see the Earth from this new perspective.
Now, how will your geologist skills come into play on the space station, or is this rolling into research for when we go to the moon?
Yeah, for me, I'm super excited about the opportunity to see the Earth from the unique vantage point that the ISS offers. We have other assets in low Earth orbit and on the ground, obviously, ways of acquiring data and information about the Earth. But using that in conjunction with our perspective here on the ISS is something that's really exciting to me. And in thinking about applications to the moon and eventually to Mars, there are a lot of analog features and processes that can tell us a lot about other planetary surfaces, using the Earth kind of as a laboratory to understand other planetary surfaces. So I'm looking forward to doing a little bit of that kind of observation while I'm up here.
And I want you both to answer this. How's the sleeping situation? Do you sleep better in space, worse in space? Is it hard to get used to sleeping there?
Well, sleeping is actually one of my very few superpowers. So sleeping is not a real issue for me up here. It's excellent to be able to sleep in microgravity.
Yes, I have actually stopped asking Wadi how she slept because she just sleeps fantastically anywhere, anytime. So that is definitely her superpower. I'm not at that level, but I'm also a pretty good sleeper, so I sleep quite well up here. And I have to say that is something I missed, that ability of when it's time to go to sleep and, you feel yourself ready to go to sleep. I will be in my sleeping bag, maybe typing some emails, and then I will know, okay, now it's time to sleep, and I will just zip up my sleeping bag and close my eyes, turn off the light, and just let myself float and doze off, and it's a fantastic feeling. I like it a lot.
And I'd like you both to take a shot at this. Looking back at your 10-year-old selves, what would you have told your 10-year-old self about your chances of becoming an astronaut and what it would take? How would you encourage that 10-year-old that you once were? I'd like you both to answer this.
I think I would tell my 10-year-old self to continue to dream big, and the only way to ensure that you're not selected is to not apply. And so for me, finding pathways that were exciting to me, ways to pursue my passion, opportunities that led me down that pathway, finding mentors and teachers, instructors that helped encourage me along those pathways was what really enabled me to get to this point. So I would encourage my younger self and all young people to do the same.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I would talk to my younger self, just because, I mean, it turned out all right for me. I did become an astronaut, and if you go back in time, maybe it's my science fiction readings, but if you go back in time and you know, start talking to people, you might mess with the timeline, and so I might end up not becoming an astronaut, so I think I will just, you know, let her alone.
So, Samantha, you must be encouraged because in the latest ESA astronaut application, many more women applied. What does that mean for diversity in space as we move forward to going to moon and other adventures?
Yeah, definitely true. I mean, we're very excited at ESA that indeed we got well, in general, a huge response from applicants all over Europe. We got more than, I believe, 25,000 applications this time around. So over three times more than back in 2009. And also, as you mentioned, the percentage of women has significantly increased, and so we are all confident that by the end of this year we will have several new astronauts, and among them certainly also several new female colleagues, which means that those young colleagues will be the ones who will lead the way in missions beyond low Earth orbit, so to the moon, and hopefully one day towards Mars.
Speaking of the moon, Artemis 1 may be launching this year. Are you kind of looking forward to seeing a launch from the space station going to the moon?
Oh, absolutely. That would be so fantastic. We would have the best seat in the house. So we're super excited about all that NASA's doing with the Artemis program and taking this first huge step, their first giant leap, if you will. We're super excited about it.
And my one final question kind of has to do with climate change. We're in a big drought in the U.S., and one thing you've mastered on the space station that's quite remarkable is recycling water. What lessons can we learn from Earth on your recyclable systems on the space station?
Yeah, I think it's definitely an area where research and technology development and demonstrations on space station can have direct applications for life on Earth. NASA publishes every year like a pretty thick list of such spin-offs, and so I'm pretty sure that some of those spin-offs come from, just as you mentioned, our amazing ability to close the loop on water recycling. I mean, I think we're pretty close to 100% now of being able to recover the urine, the sweat, all the humidity from the air, and so hopefully there are companies out there and startups that take those technologies and scale them up and make them applicable to the challenges that we face on Earth, such as climate change-driven droughts.
Thank you both very much. I appreciate your time. Godspeed.
Thanks so much.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event.
Thank you to all participants from the Associated Press and ABC News. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications.